What would you do if the only person willing to stand beside you in the darkest moment wasn't a famous lawyer or a powerful friend, but the quiet janitor everyone ignored? Imagine watching a billionaire lose everything in a courtroom while the people she trusted walked away. Then, from the back of the room, a single father holding nothing but courage stood up and said, "I will defend her." No one laughed because they thought he was joking. They laughed because they believed someone like him could never change anything. But before the day was over, that humble janitor would remind everyone that true strength doesn't come from money or status. It comes from kindness, honesty, and the courage to do what's right when everyone else walks away. Before we begin this unforgettable story, welcome to Heartline Stories. If you enjoy emotional stories about kindness, hope, and second chances, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Your support helps us share more inspiring stories with people around the world. Emma Lawson was one of the richest businesswomen in America. She had built a technology company worth billions of dollars. Newspapers called her unstoppable, but behind the headlines was a woman who worked harder than anyone knew. She believed that success meant surrounding herself with the smartest people, especially expensive lawyers. On the other side of the city lived Daniel Brooks, a widowed single father raising his 12-year-old daughter, Lily. Every morning before sunrise, Daniel cleaned the offices in Emma's company headquarters. He wore a faded blue uniform, pushed his cleaning cart through silent hallways, and greeted everyone with a smile, even though many employees never looked at him. Daniel always told Lily, "Kindness is something nobody can take away from you." One rainy evening, Daniel noticed Emma sitting alone in the company's lobby long after everyone had gone home. She looked exhausted. Her hands were shaking as she stared at a folder full of legal papers. Daniel quietly offered her a cup of coffee from the break room. "You look like you could use this," he said gently. Emma smiled for the first time that day. "Thank you," she whispered. It was only a small act of kindness, but she never forgot it. A few weeks later, disaster struck. Emma's own business partners accused her of financial fraud. They claimed she had stolen millions from the company she created. The accusations were completely false, but the evidence looked convincing because someone had carefully forged documents. News spread across every television station. Investors panicked. Employees resigned. Even worse, Emma's famous attorney suddenly withdrew from the case just 2 days before the trial. "The pressure is too great," he said before walking away. Emma couldn't believe it. The people she had trusted for years disappeared overnight. On the morning of the trial, reporters crowded outside the courthouse. Cameras flashed as Emma entered alone. Inside, the judge asked calmly, "Ms. Lawson, where is your legal counsel?" Emma lowered her head. "I don't have one anymore." The courtroom became silent. Then a voice echoed from the back. "I will defend her." Everyone turned around. It was Daniel. Still wearing his janitor's uniform. People laughed. One attorney whispered, "This has to be a joke." The judge looked surprised. "Sir, are you qualified?" Daniel took a deep breath. "I studied law years ago. I passed the bar exam, but after my wife became seriously ill, I gave up my career to care for her and later raise our daughter. When she passed away, I accepted any honest job I could find. Being a janitor paid the bills." The room fell completely silent. Emma stared at him in disbelief. "You'd do this, for me?" Daniel smiled. "You once thanked me for a simple cup of coffee. Today you need someone who won't abandon you." The judge reviewed Daniel's credentials. To everyone's surprise, they were genuine. He was officially allowed to represent Emma. As the trial began, Daniel stayed calm while the opposing lawyers attacked Emma's reputation. Instead of arguing loudly, Daniel carefully examined every document. Hours passed. Then he noticed something unusual. Several electronic signatures had impossible timestamps. One contract had supposedly been signed before the software even existed. Daniel requested access to the company's backup servers. The courtroom waited anxiously. After reviewing the digital records, Daniel uncovered the truth. Emma's former business partner had secretly manipulated company files for months, creating fake evidence while moving money into hidden accounts overseas. The prosecutor's entire case began to collapse. One by one, witnesses admitted they had been pressured into giving false statements. Finally, the guilty partner confessed. "I never thought anyone would discover it," he admitted. The judge dismissed every charge against Emma. The courtroom erupted. Reporters rushed toward Daniel instead of the billionaire. One journalist asked, "Why would you risk everything for someone who barely knew you?" Daniel looked at Emma before answering. "Because kindness isn't about what someone can give you. It's about standing beside people when everyone else walks away." Millions of Americans watched those words on television that evening. The video spread across social media within hours. People weren't talking about the billionaire anymore. They were talking about the janitor with the brave heart. A few days later, Emma invited Daniel and Lily to her office. "I owe you more than my company," she said. Daniel smiled. "You don't owe me anything." Emma shook her head. "I do." She offered Daniel the position of chief legal officer. Daniel politely declined. "I've learned that titles don't define a person." Emma smiled warmly. "Then help me build something better." Together they created a foundation that provided free legal help for struggling single parents who couldn't afford attorneys. Daniel accepted that mission without hesitation. Years passed. Thousands of families received justice because one kind man refused to stay silent. Lily grew up watching her father help complete strangers. She became a lawyer too, inspired not by wealth or fame, but by compassion. Whenever people asked why she chose that path, she always answered the same way. "My father taught me that the greatest victories happen when kindness wins." Emma never forgot the lesson either. Every year, she personally joined the cleaning staff for one day. She wanted every employee to remember that every job deserves respect and every person deserves dignity. The company became known not only for its success but also for its culture of kindness. People often say that money changes lives. Sometimes it does. But on one unforgettable day, it wasn't money that saved a billionaire. It was the courage of a humble single father who believed that doing the right thing mattered more than being important. If this story touched your heart, remember this: you don't need a fortune to change someone's life. A kind word, a helping hand, or simply refusing to abandon someone in their hardest moment can become the turning point they never forget. Thank you for watching Heartline Stories. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes kindness still has the power to change the world. Until next time, keep choosing kindness, because even the smallest act of compassion can create a miracle that lasts forever.